Hey everybody, Danny Bader here. Just thought I'd drop in and share a little observation I had. I was down on the beach last week, I guess, and there's Hey everybody, Danny Bader here. Wasn't quite sure if that video started. I'm actually in a hotel, first time since March, so it feels pretty good to be traveling again with the Marriott brand. Anyhow, I was down the beach last week, and it's interesting as you sit there, you watch people, and they come and they set up, and they've got all their gear and their chairs and umbrellas and everything else. There's a lot of tents around now, like these, they're open but canopies. And I saw a guy at the end of the day. He had set it up. He had two young kids, and at the end of the day, like on the corners of the tent, they have little pockets that you can fill with sand. That's what keeps it down. And at the end of the day, he packed it all up and he left the sand in those pockets and he put it onto his wagon and he trudged across the sand. And, he had two little kids. He was a great husband, a great dad. But I thought the metaphor for me was, why not empty that sand out? And then when you come back tomorrow, there's a whole lot more sand there that you can use again. And what showed up for me was, how often in life do we continue after our day at the beach? We pack up all that stuff, that heavy stuff, and we just carry it with us. Oftentimes it's our problems, it's our challenges, and it's our struggles. So it's kind of an interesting metaphor for me because, listen, when you come back tomorrow to life, you wake up, trust me, there's going to be more interesting challenges and struggles. You don't need to bring them with you anymore. That's kind of the whole point. And, as I thought about the time that we're in right now, I thought about a book that I'm reading right here. It's called Trust Your Animal Instincts. Really good read. It's doing great on Amazon by my friend Tabitha Scott, Tab Scott. And in there, Tab pulls some lessons from animals. Tab spent 3 months in Costa Rica, isolated in the jungle, and some animals kept showing up. And it was interesting, being a writer and an observer and a coach, what those animals can teach us. And one chapter is around the bats. And I did a podcast with Tab, will be coming up soon. But Tab said, the bats, they hang upside down. They fly into the cave or whatever, and they just go up and they fly and they're upside down. And she said they have to be hanging upside down to take off and fly. They can't just take off from the ground or anywhere else. They have to be hanging up there and they have to let go. So again, what showed up for me is, let's maybe be like the bats a little bit and let go when our life is a bit upside down, like it is now. Could be coronavirus, could be colleges and universities canceled, could be some relationship infidelity going on, could be some financial challenges, could be some health challenges. We've got those things going on, and sometimes it's just time to let go of them and move forward. So I'll offer for you, if you're dealing with any kinds of those challenges, I like to put things together in an acronym, right? So we had SAVE before, right? You're laying in bed, you don't feel too good, SAVE, tap to the spirit, take action, think about your vision, and then evolve and move on. I'll give you one right now, ACE, ACE. So when it's time to let go, and right, don't drag that sand off the beach, and like the bat, just let go and move on. The A is to acknowledge and be aware of it, and that it's okay. If it's a shitty time, somebody did something that was shitty to you, or you've failed again in your endeavor from a health perspective, whatever it is, just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it and know that it happens to us. It's part of the human journey, and it's okay. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody is. So just sit there and acknowledge it and say, okay, this is what happened. It's not the greatest thing in the world. And don't say but, because my friend Pat Croce said, when you say but, it dismisses everything that occurred before. So yeah, this is not the best thing. This kind of sucks. And, right? And, because it does. And here's where we're going. So the A is to just sit, acknowledge it, and understand it's part of the journey. The C is to change your story about it. So how many people, right? And I get it, these college students, our daughter Lizzie, spring semester last year canceled, fall this year, no track, everything's no campus activities, everything's virtual. So missing a whole year. But what's your story around that? Oh my God, this is horrible. I can't believe it. This is not the way college is supposed to be. I should get my money back. I'm going to stop training. I don't know if I'll play sports ever again. These people are wrong. Change your story. How about infidelity? I can't believe they did that to me. They're so wrong. They don't love me because I complain too much, or I've put on some weight. Change your story about it. Listen, the education system now for college and university students, this is what it is. Acknowledge it. And change your story and say, wow, it's kind of interesting that in my 4 years, what's the likelihood that I'm going through this? Good opportunity for me to grow right now. How could I still create what I want? How can I get the good grades? How can I look down the road and see the job that I'm going to create for myself? How can I still engage in some great social encounters and have somewhat of a social life during these years, and also knowing that it's going to end, right? In the fidelity perspective, listen, if somebody cheats, it has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with them, right? They didn't, for some reason in their values, want to sit down and say, hey, this is not working out. This is what I need. I'm thinking about moving on, whatever it might be. Change your story about your health and about your nutrition and your exercise. I can't do it. I'm so tired. I put the weight back on. What's the story? Well, you know what? I have failed in this many, many times, and that's okay. I'm not going to fail anymore. See, change that story there. It's so powerful for us. You know, I've had to do it with my business. My business was to travel and speak to people in rooms where you're all together. Hello? So what do you want to say about it? This sucks. Business is over. I got to go get another job. I'm like, no. How do I continue to promote books, t-shirts, podcasts, online courses? How do I keep doing what I'm doing and drive revenue to keep the business going? So accept it, acknowledge, change the story, and the E is simply to evolve. And it's always in there. It's the last principle of the Jackrabbit model, and it's to undergo continuous and gradual change and growth. So when you're sitting there and you're going, I'm not going to drag this through life anymore, all this problems and challenges, and yes, I'm the bat hanging and my life is a bit upside down and now I'm going to let go. Just trust that we're here to evolve and to undergo continuous and gradual growth, and always ask yourself, what can I learn from this that's going to make me a better version of myself, that's going to make me stronger and more resilient as I move through more challenges. So be like the bats when our world is upside down. Just let go and practice that ACE acronym. Take care. Have a good one. Love you all.